betting on everything. Kalshi's $5 billion prediction market boom. According to the Times online prediction platform, Kalshi just raised $300 million at a $5 billion valuation, expanding to over 140 countries. Once known for election bets, Kalshi now lets users wage on sports, the weather, and more. Is it going to rain tomorrow? Let me place a $1,000 bet on that. I guess is how it goes. It's not something I use. The CEO told the Times, "We did not expect this level of growth." Kalshi's trading volume has soared to an annualized $50 billion, up from just $30 million last year. That's huge growth. Backers include Sequoia Capital, Andreessen Horowitz, and Coinbase Ventures, but its success has triggered scrutiny. Several U.S. states have sued, claiming Kalshi is skirting sports betting laws by disguising wagers as financial contracts. As prediction markets go mainstream, regulators are asking the defining question, is this finance or just Vegas with a stock ticker? Okay, what's the real message here? Kalshi is a symptom of a greater problem in our society where everybody wants to get rich quick. Everybody wants to get rich, not by learning a new skill, creating a product that's useful to people, creating a service that's useful to people. They want to get rich by saying, I'm smart and I can read the future. Well, get a clue. You can't read the future. Let's dig a little deeper here. This is troubling. One of the questions I always ask about a new business, this is a relatively new business, is the following. If this business were to disappear or never be created, would there be any harm in the world? Would anything be worse off? And for something like this, which is really just disguised betting, gambling, I think the answer is a definitive no. If we got rid of all of these gambling things, all of these sports wagers, gambling on the weather, putting down $1,000, maybe your rent money, maybe your mortgage money, maybe your children's lunch money, because you think you know better than the experts on whether it's going to rain tomorrow, that's delusional insanity. And yet we see regulators bowing down. We see serious, Andreessen Horowitz, Sequoia Capital. These are the kingpins of venture capital. These are companies that have invested in real products and real services that transform the world, real technologies. Now, this may be a profitable company, but at what expense? We are seeing a crisis in the United States, but in other countries, Japan, South Korea, of young men, where young men are simply failing to launch. They are staying in their bedrooms and they're basically doing a handful of things. They're watching porn, they're playing video games, and they're betting. They're betting on athletic events, but these days they're also betting on whether the sun rises and whether it's going to rain tomorrow. And this Kalshi is exacerbating this. It's making it worse and worse and worse. Now, is this just gambling? Well, part of the proof is DraftKings and FanDuel stock fell when this news came out. It went down because it's seen as direct competition. Now, some states do still have laws saying that you can't bet on sports. And this company, they've got a lot of smart lawyers. Oh, we're not sports gambling. We're financial futures contracts and whatever. It's betting on sports. I don't know what the answer is in a free society, in a capitalistic society, to say that you can't have two consenting adults placing a bet. I mean, there are some who say, well, that's what the stock market is. The difference with the stock market is you are investing money that the company can use to invest in more people, more infrastructure, more product line. And yeah, I understand once the company's gone public, the stock price goes up, doesn't go back to the company, it goes to the, I get that, but companies usually keep some of that stock for themselves. So when the stock goes up, it gives them more capital. They can sell their own stock. They can hire more people. They can create more. That is a part of a productive economy. So it is not the same thing betting on a football game tomorrow versus buying stock in a corporation, especially if it's a publicly traded corporation and it's on the NASDAQ, it's on the New York Stock Exchange. Doesn't mean it can't go out of business and go to zero, but it typically doesn't, and it doesn't do it quickly. As I mentioned at the beginning of every one of these shows, the NASDAQ is up almost 10% a year on average for 10 years, which means if you do invest in some kind of an index fund, If you've done it in the last 25 years, you would have averaged getting 10% growth return on your investment every single year. Cumulatively, it could be a fortune. Ask yourself, do you really know anyone in your neighborhood, your dorm, your apartment building who's rich betting on games? I seriously, there may be some bookies who're making money off of other suckers, but long run, this is a sucker's bet. And this is what it is. And the idea that every major sports league is now in bed with all, and there was a time when they said, we don't want to taint our sport with gambling. We don't want everyone to think our games aren't legitimate. We don't want them to think our athletes are throwing the game to help get a wager, to help for a payoff. Doesn't seem like anyone cares about that anymore. I mean, if Pete Rose were to start his career today and start gambling, they may make him the commissioner of baseball, given his love of gambling. They may say, oh, Pete, you know about gambling. We want to get bigger into gambling. Let's make you the player, the coach, and the commissioner of baseball all in one. That might be what have happened if Pete Rose had started his career today. Again, the solution, am I saying we need to make all this illegal? I'm uncomfortable with that. But you, as an individual, I'm speaking to now, not a societal force. I want you to really think twice. If you've got an extra $500, $1,000, I know it's not sexy, take that $500, put it in an S&P 500 index fund. And I'm not here officially to give you investment advice, but I feel very, very confident that you put $500 in an S&P 500 index fund today, a low-cost index fund, and perhaps you did that regularly versus gambling on a soccer game or a football game or the weather, you will be much wealthier 5, 10, 20, 25 years from now. Sign of the times, everything is about gambling. Everything is about gimmickry. Everything is about getting, I realize I sound like an old man, and truth be told, I'm not a young man, but certain things transcend any one era. If you're looking for a quick fix, a get rich quick gimmick, I don't care what era you're in, you usually end up being a big loser.